Hi, nice to see you again. I hope you're ready for a relaxing and a very stretchy yoga. So let's talk about what we're going to do today. Uh, we are going to talk a little bit about the vagus nerve and how to stimulate it, and later on in the flow, how to stretch it. And by stimulating the vagus nerve, you can reduce your anxiety and possibly depression if you're feeling kind of down. So we're always looking for ways, natural ways, to make ourselves healthier and happier. And that's my purpose for yoga. So our theme today is getting in touch. And I was doing a little bit of reading by Bessel van der Kolk, and I noticed that there was a whole chapter on getting in touch. And so he talks about a study that was done at Harvard, and the results of the study showed that people really need to be touched, hugged, talked to, and all of those things help to ground us and release and um, the anxiety or frustration that we may be feeling, along with depression. So just a little thing to let you know that being touched and hugged and rocked is something you do with young children, but hopefully you're doing that as an adult too. So let's get started, and we'll start with the stimulation of the vagus nerve. So there's three little exercises, and as I said in our description, the talking before yoga is a little involved, so the actual video will be longer than 40 minutes, but the yoga will be 40 minutes, okay? So here we go. We'll start with touching the back of, let's start with the inhales and exhales. So inhaling nice and deep. And then instead of exhaling all the way, just 30%, 30%, and then the last bit. And you can put your hands on the side of you so you can feel that inhale. And when you inhale, all of this area, the chest will expand. So inhale completely. Hold. And then release 30%. 30%. And all the way. Beautiful. Let's do that again. Inhale completely, and then exhale 30%, 30%, and 30%, or the last bit there, okay? All right, then let's take a couple of nice deep breaths, and we'll do the second one. The second one is in the back of your head. So if you just take one side and bring maybe your two fingers together and come to the very bottom of the skull there. So you can feel the bone there, and just press there. And then take a few moments there, and then notice you're going to move the skin to the right and to the left. And just really pay attention to if it feels better, kind of a release if you go in one direction or the other. You should be able to kind of get that. If not, once you get to one side, just push there. And then bring your hand down and bring 2 fingers from your other hand. Find that lower part of the skull, the bone there, and press in. And then push the skin to the right, to the left. And see, I can feel kind of a release there when I go to the left, but you can go back and forth and just notice where you want to press, either to the left or to the right. And then hold there. Should notice a release through the shoulders, maybe a nice exhaling breath here. Yeah, releasing that anxiety. And then let's bring that left hand down and then bring the right hand back. Now we're going to go right below that bone to the muscle below the bone, okay? And just press there. And then you're going to go again to the left and to the right. And just notice where you feel kind of a release. I feel it going to the left. So I'm going to take my left hand and hold it there. And then I'm going to go the opposite way with my right hand. And breathe. And then let go. And then we'll go to the left side. Bring your fingers to that place that is right underneath the skull bone and to the muscle there. And then go to the left and the right. Kind of search a little bit here to where you feel a release. I feel it to my right. So this, you really have to pay attention to what's going on in your body. So I'm going to push there, and then with the other hand, take those 2 fingers and go in the opposite direction. And I can just feel like a nice softness going through my shoulders here, almost like a heat coming into that right shoulder that was a little tense before. Good. And then let's bring our hands down to our thighs, and we're going to do one of the breathing exercises also that goes with this stimulation of the vagus nerve. So as you inhale completely. And then as you exhale, we're going to make kind of a B sound. And just keep that B sound going until you have no more to give, okay? Just let it go until your breath completely runs out. You can try that again. And now I want you to do it again 2 more times, but I want you to really pay attention to your throat and feel that vibration in your throat. So kind of just drop it into your throat. And you're just going to have to feel it, okay? So inhale, nice and deep. And and let's do it again. Last time. Inhale, very deep. And so stimulating the throat by gargling in the morning. That's a nice way to stimulate that vagus nerve. And it does have some nice positive effects. A massage, if you have someone who loves to give you a massage, that's great too. And splashing cold water on your face does that too. So good job. All right, so let's start with our breath now. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Starting our yoga practice. Inhale, exhale. Bring the lips together as you inhale. Keep the lips together as you exhale. Notice the air swirling around in the back of your throat. Again, stimulating that vagus nerve. This is your Ujjayi Pranayama, your yoga breath. It's nice if you can continue this throughout the practice. Yeah. Straightening and stretching that spine, bringing the shoulders up on your inhale, and as you exhale, releasing the shoulders onto your back. And then let's straighten out those legs and push the heels forward, and let's bring the arms up overhead. Gazing up, reach and stretch. As you exhale, bring those hands out to your sides, palms facing down. And we'll do a little circular motion with the circles going forward, small little circles. And then we're going to make them a little bit bigger. And nice and big. Yeah, good job. All right, come back to center. Place the palms facing upward. And the small circles are going to be going backwards. Yeah, keep that spine straight. Push the heels forward. Make the circles a little bit bigger until they're huge. Good for the shoulders. Nice. And then bring the arms up overhead, gazing up. And as you exhale, fold forward, reaching for your toes. So if you can't reach your toes, you can always take your strap and put it around your feet and hold on to the strap and just keep your nose gazing or nose pointed towards your toes, and your spine is nice and straight here, not bending, no curve in the spine. Beautiful. Just feel the underside of your legs, the hamstrings and the calves stretching. Yeah. If you pull a little bit on your strap, you give a little bit more of a stretch. So come to that place that is your edge. Okay, that place of greatest resistance without any type of pain. That is your edge. Good. And then as you inhale, come back up. And we're going to come into a tabletop pose on your hands and knees. Knees are right underneath our hip bones, wrists underneath our shoulders, fingers crazy wide. Inhale, we're going to do cat and cow. So inhale for cow, bring the hips up too, and you have a nice curve in that back. And then Exhale for cat, rounding the back like an angry cat, gazing behind you. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale. Nice. Now let's take this right hand and arm and bring it out in front of you. You can gaze down or out past those right fingertips into the spinal balance. If you are able to, you can take that left leg and bring it out behind you. Push the heel back. So if you can't keep the left leg up, then just stretch it out and bring the toes down. Okay, so you have that option. Nice job. Exhale, touch knee to elbow, gaze behind you. Inhale it back out. Exhale, touch. Inhale it back out. Exhale, touch. Inhale it back out. As you exhale, that right hand comes down. And we're going to take the right foot and bring it off of the mat, kind of like a kickstand. Inhale the left arm up, okay? So this left foot is still straight out. If you can't hold it up, then bring it down. It's all right, no problem. Good. As you exhale, bring that left arm over your left ears and stretch from the left fingertips towards your heel. And push the heel back. And you feel that all along the obliques along your side. Good. Nice stretch. As you exhale, bend that left knee and bring your left hand to the left foot. And do a little hug, tug here. If you can't reach it, that's okay. Grab your strap, put it around the foot, and then push the foot out and the hand or the strap toward your hips, okay? Breathe, open the chest here. Yeah, it takes a little bit of strength, yes, it's good. As you exhale, release and bring the left hand and the knee down. Let's do a couple of cows and cats. Nice. Feel your body warming up. All right, we're going to start on the next side. So inhale, the left arm comes forward. Gazing past the fingertips or down towards your mat. And then inhale, that right leg comes out behind you. Push that heel back. Remember, if you can't leave the leg up, then bring it down. Let your toes come down and push that heel back. No problem. Exhale, touch knee to elbow, gaze behind you. Inhale it back out. Exhale, touch. Inhale it back out. Exhale, touch. Inhale it back out. Breathe. As you exhale, bring that left hand down. Left foot comes off of the mat like a kickstand. Inhale the right arm up, gazing up. Remember, if you don't want this leg to stay up, or if it's a little too much for you, you can bring it down to the floor. Just push the heel out. Either way. On your next exhale, bring that right arm over your right ear. Stretch from right fingertips to your heel. Breathe and really feel the stretch. Pay attention to the stretch along the side of your body. That's the best way to enjoy yoga, is to feel each pose. As you exhale, bring that right heel toward your tush. Right hand goes to the right foot, or you can slip the strap or your scarf, whatever you have for a strap, around the foot. Get a hold, and then push the foot out. Press with your hand toward your tush or with your strap. Good. So I call that a hug, tug. Two different forces going, one out and one in. Good. Open the chest, gaze up. Yeah, keep yourself energized here. As you exhale, release. Bring your right hand down and your right knee down. Let's do a couple of cats and cows. Good. Yeah, you might be feeling a little of that warmth. I know I am. And that means we're stretching, we've started, and we're going to keep going. Yeah. And then inhale, come all the way up to kneeling. Let's take our hands and bring them behind us. Curl the toes under, gaze up. So here you can bring the hands behind your hips or the lower back and press forward. Open the chest, gaze up for camel pose. Yeah. Now, if you want to get a little bit more out of this, you can bring those fingertips down to your heels. Gazing up, you're doing great. You are doing terrific. Yeah, beautiful. You always have options in yoga. Yeah, we're trying to get a nice curve to our back here. All right, and this is one of the ways you can do it. We have some others. I'll give you the others later. And then slowly come all the way up. Point your toes, release your hands to your sides. Let's do a little movement through the shoulders, rolling them back and around and forward. Yeah, feel that. And then let's bring our palms together at heart center and bring this right foot forward. Yeah. So knee is going to be above your heel. That's the safe place, okay? And your palms are together at heart center. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move this right foot forward and press forward with our hips. Bring our hands down to that right thigh. Yeah, there you go. And we're going to stretch. What you're stretching here is the left quad. Big surprise because you're hardly moving it, but you should be able to feel a stretch there. If you're not, then bring that right foot forward some more. Bring the hips forward some more. Yeah. Ah, it's a nice stretch. Very good. Breathe. And then slowly bring those hips above your knee. And then we're going to take that right foot and bring it over to the left part of the back. And bend the knee a little bit more and stretch. Bring that left leg out behind you. Bring your hands down and coming into a pigeon pose. So you can place this block underneath your head, or you can bring your head all the way down to the mat. Yeah, this side of my hip and IT band are a little tight, so I'm using a block, but you don't have to. Yeah, sometimes a pillow is good too here. The left toes are facing inward here, and you should be feeling a stretch in that right hip flexor. If you lean a little bit to the right, you're going to feel a stretch along the right IT band. Good. Breathe deeply. And then as you inhale, bring your head up slowly. Bring that right knee to meet your left, coming back into your tabletop pose. Doing a cow and a cat. And then we're going to bring the hands forward, curl the toes under, coming into plank pose, top of your push-up. So your whole back and legs are all one straight line. You're gazing down. Top of the head is stretching forward while the heels push back. Okay, so you're feeling a nice stretch along the whole back of your body. As you exhale, bring the knees down, bend your elbows, and bring your whole body down to the bottom of your push-up. Point your toes, and keep your elbows in as you come into Sphinx, which would have the elbows down, palms down, or up dog, which would straighten out the arms. You can have some bend in the elbow, but you're not. Your elbow is not on the mat here. And your gaze is forward. Soften through the shoulders, the neck, and the jaw. Good. And feel that lower back again, bending backward. This is another back bend. Good job. As you exhale, curl the toes under, coming into down dog, gazing behind you. Push the hips back and up. Press the hands down and forward. Engage your bandhas. Uddiyana Bandha, the abdominal muscles. Mula Bandha, pelvic and bladder muscles. So funny that some of the things about teaching yoga are so ingrained in my mind. And I always think of Red Lotus and Brian Grenadier as that for giving me of all of this great foundation that I have. So kudos to Red Lotus and Brian. As you inhale, the right leg comes up, gaze behind you. Exhale, the right knee bends, open up the hips to the right, turn your right ankle in one direction, and then the other. Very nice. Stretch out that right leg, push the heel up and back. Exhale, bring that right foot in between your hands. And again, I'm experiencing some difficulties with the right hip, so I'm a little jittery on that. So that just shows you that you can be jittery too. You're still doing yoga. You don't have to be perfect. And then you bring yourself up, bring the hands up overhead. So here your left foot is at a 45-degree angle. Knee is nice and straight. Right knee is bent at a 90-degree angle or close to it. Hips push forward, chest is gazing up along with your eyes. Or your drishti. In yoga we call your gaze your drishti. Breathe. As you exhale, bring your hands behind you and clasp them. Shoulder blades come together, gaze up. Beautiful. Inhale or exhale, bring that head down and the hands come up overhead, gazing behind you. Inhale, come all the way up. Arms come up overhead. Coming to warrior two, the left toes face the long end of the mat. Right knee bends at a 90-degree angle. Gaze past those right fingers. Beautiful. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Right hand comes up over your right ear. Left hand comes down your thigh or behind your hips, pushing yourself forward. Gaze up. Warrior two. Exhale, come back into warrior two, and then bring that right forearm to your thigh. Left arm comes over your left ear for extended side angle. Gaze up toward those left fingers. Beautiful. Breathe. Notice what's going on in your body and breathe into it. It might be places that are screaming, no, don't do this. And other places that are going, I'm so glad you're doing this. And then inhale, come up to standing, straighten that right leg, bring the arms out, back into a T, reach your right arm out and down to the knee, shin, or floor. Inhale the left arm up, gaze up for triangle. If you can't gaze up, you can just gaze straight ahead. Soften through the wrist on that left hand. Good. Inhale, come back up to standing. Legs nice and wide, toes pointed out, reaching the hands into the star, points of the star for star pose. Beautiful. Open the chest and back. Open the chest with the wide arms, bringing them back and then forward. Bring the palms together at heart center. Breathe here. Let's bend the left knee and the right and the left and the right. And yes, we are stretching the vagus nerve down in the pelvic area. So if you can hold for a little bit, yeah. So notice my left toes are facing the long end of the mat, right toes facing forward, palms together at heart center, right knee is facing toward the front. Good. Good. If you need to, you can come out of it and then go back in. Just give yourself some time. Breathe. As you inhale, straighten out that right leg. Turn toward the back of the mat, coming to Samasthiti. Palms together at heart center. So I'm doing a little wiggling here of the legs. And gazing forward. Inhale, the arms come up overhead. Gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Gaze behind you. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, bring your hands down. Stretch out those legs behind you. Come into plank pose, top of the push-up. Engage your buttocks. Breathe. And let's do one more long breath here. Inhale. Exhale. And then bend the elbows, bring the knees down, point the toes, come down to the bottom of the push-up. Keeping your elbows close. You can either come into Sphinx pose with your elbows down, palms down, and gaze forward from here. Or you can go into up dog, straightening the arms and gazing forward. Whichever one you're doing, you're still going to get a great, nice reset of the discs in your spine, especially that lower spine. Oh, that should feel wonderful. As you exhale, curl the toes under, coming into down dog. Push the hips back and up. Beautiful. Gaze behind you. Now we're going to bring the knees down and do one more thing before we go into that part of the flow, which I forgot, so that's okay. Let's bring that left foot forward, left knee bent, knee is above your heel. Okay, and the arms come up overhead, gaze up. As you exhale, bring your hands to that left thigh and start to move the hips forward. And we're doing that quad stretch here, right there. Yeah. And if you are not feeling it yet, then move it a little, move that left foot forward and the hips forward a little bit more. Find your edge. Yeah. Nice. And breathe. Very nice. Keep the gaze forward. Just notice what's happening in your body. The best part of yoga is you really get to know your body and a lot of times your mind too. You get to know, where your edge is, how you're feeling, what's going on. Sometimes a whole lot of stuff happens during yoga. Don't ever be surprised. And then as you exhale, we're going to bring the hands down. We're going to bring that left knee down and bring the left knee up to meet the left wrist. The left foot comes over to the right. Stretch that right leg out behind you. Point the toes inward and bring the block down. The forehead comes down. And rest here in pigeon pose. If you don't need the block, bring your forehead all the way down to the mat. And breathe. And then bring your head up. Place the mat. Hands come down. Slowly bring the right knee forward. Come onto the left knee. And do a couple of cats and cows. Good. Then curl your toes under and come back into down dog. Yeah, that's where we were. Just forgot that kneeling part, and I didn't want you to miss it on the left side. Inhale, the left leg comes up. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hips to the left. Turn your ankle in one direction and then the other. Inhale, the left leg comes up. Exhale, left foot comes in between the hands, right foot at a 45-degree angle. Heels are in a straight line. Left knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. Hips are facing forward. Arms come up overhead for warrior one. Gaze up. Press the outer edge of that right foot into the mat. Breathe. As you exhale, bring your hands behind you and clasp them. Shoulder blades come together. Chest opens. And exhale, bring the head down and the hands come up overhead. Gaze behind you. If you feel dizzy, then don't bring your head that far down. Keep it up here. Yeah. So it doesn't go below your knees. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Arms come up overhead. Gaze up. Exhale, open up those arms. Right toes face the long end of the mat. Left knee pointing toward the back of your mat. Gaze past your left fingers. And breathe. Warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left arm comes over the left ear. Gaze up, right hand down your thigh or behind your hips, pushing forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Left forearm to the left thigh. Right arm over the right ear, gazing up toward those right fingers. And breathe. Nice stretch. Good job. Nice. Inhale, come back up, arms in a T, straighten out that left leg. Reach the left arm out and down for triangle. Inhale the right arm up. Make sure that your body could fit between two panes of glass here. Yeah. As you inhale, come back up. Bring the palms together at heart center. Point the toes outward. And just take a couple of breaths here. Nice and deep. Nice and long. Bring your arms out into star pose. Point the toes outward. Again, bring the hands back to center. Point the left toes to the left. Bend the left knee. Right toes are facing forward or towards the long end of the mat. And then inhale, straighten it up. Exhale, bend. Maybe bring that right foot a little bit farther away. And then back. We do want to try to keep the knee above the heel. So if you're going to stretch a leg, it's going to be the right one. And back. And then let's hold this one. Good job. Doing great. And breathe. Stretching that vagus nerve. And then inhale. Turn toward the front of your mat, coming to Samastitihi. Take a deep breath or two here. Press the feet down. Engage your bandhas, lengthen your spine. Inhale, the arms come up overhead, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, gaze behind you. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands, step your feet back. Slowly going through your Chaturanga Dandasana. So the knees come down, point your toes, body comes down to the mat. Inhale for up dog, hold here. Now we're going to go from here to child's pose. So we're going to bring the hips up and back, bring the knees apart, the toes together. Press the hips back towards your heels, and the forehead comes down to the mat or a block or a pillow, whatever you have. Arms are stretched out in front of you. If that is uncomfortable, bring your hands to your sides, palms facing up. And rest here. As you inhale, bring your head up. And then we're going to come into a seated position, bringing your legs out in front of you, stretching them nice and wide. Slowly bring the hands up overhead, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Bring the hands down to the mat or a block and push it gently forward. Push the heels out, the toes inward, and feel the stretch along the inner thighs. Now here you can stretch your toes and point them like a ballerina. And then you can flex that ankle, bring the toes up and back toward you. And just take like a nice long breath during each one. Yeah. And notice the difference. Notice what muscles are being engaged and which muscles are stretching. Get a lot of stretching when you point your toes along the inner thigh. And then under the legs, stretch along the hamstrings and the calf as you flex the foot. As you inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. Good. Yeah, you might want to reach toward those toes once they're flexed. If you can't, that's okay. Just reach as far as you can. Engage your bandhas, tummy and pelvic muscles. And feel the stretch. As you inhale, come all the way up to seated. I don't know about you, but my body feels terrific. I hope that you are feeling that. Stretching is so good for me. So then we're going to come all the way down to your back and bring your hands over your head, pointing your fingers in one direction and your toes in the other for a nice two-way stretch. Good. Oh, nice. Breathe. And then bring your hands to your sides. Knees come up to your chest. Give yourself a hug. Bring your forehead up to the knees. And just kind of roll yourself up. Yeah. You can rock from side to side if that feels good. If not, then don't. Yeah, all right. Yeah. And then bring the feet down, keeping the knees bent. Push those feet down. Inhale, the hips come up. Clasp your hands underneath your hips. Press your elbows and triceps down. As you exhale, release the hips, bring them down. And then inhale, bring those feet up toward the ceiling for candlestick pose. Push the heels up, toes toward you. If you want, you can bring the legs nice and wide apart. Bring your hands inside your thighs. You can point and flex those feet again like you did before. But this time your feet are above your heart, and so you are stimulating the lymph nodes and helping them to pump throughout your body that wonderful stuff that helps with your immune system. So getting the lymph nodes help with your immune system, and you have to get them to pump. And the way to get them to pump is to move. So the more you move, the more immunity you get. Yeah, and especially when you bring your legs up like this. You can also go into a shoulder stand if you'd like, bringing the toes up towards your head, bringing the hips up, pushing your hands underneath the hips, and then bringing the feet up toward the ceiling. So I am not doing that right now, but if you know shoulder stand, this is a good place to do it. Good. Nice. If you are in candlestick, you can bend your knees, coming into happy baby. Bring your arms inside your knees and your hands to your feet. Yeah, the outside of your feet. And if they don't go all the way there, then the outside of your ankles or your calves. Yeah, either way. Push the feet up, the hands towards you. Another hug tug. Maybe you rock from side to side if it feels good. Yeah, nice job. If you are in shoulder stand, let's go into plow pose. Bring your toes out behind you. Maybe they reach the floor. Nice deep breath there. And then bring your knees to either side of your head for a ear pressure pose, Padasana. And then slowly everybody bring their feet down. Oh, hands come out to your sides. Just stretch those arms out to the sides. Bring your knees are still bent here, so you can press your feet down and bring your hips over to the left about 4 inches. Knees come down to the right. If your neck allows, you can gaze to the left. That's a spinal twist. Inhale, come back to center. The knees come up. Hips come over to the right, about 8 inches. And now your knees will go to the left. If your neck allows, gaze to your right. So because of the tightness in that right hip, I'm going to take a block and just put it in between my knees here. And that just feels better, yeah, because I'm like pushing my knees together here, and it just helps to stimulate me to do that. So it feels good. And if you don't have any yoga blocks at home, you could use like a big book. Not too heavy though, hopefully, but or just something that looks like these blocks that we have. They're like 8 by 4, and they're probably about 3 inches high. Yeah. And then let's bring the knees back to center, bring the hips and spine straightening them out. You can take that block away, stretch out the legs, bring your fingertips underneath your hips, press the elbows down, bring your head up as if you're watching TV from the floor. And then the top of the head comes down, gaze behind you for Uttana Padasana. Another back reset. Lower back is curved. If you want to add to this and get a little more muscle in that area, bring the legs up to a 45-degree angle and along with the arms. Gazing behind you. Good job. Yeah. As you exhale, bring the legs down, the hands down, coming into Shavasana, just letting yourself go. Breathing here, letting go of this yoga breath and coming back to your natural breath, letting the feet flop. Maybe you close your eyes. And this is where I would suggest just stopping the video and taking a good 5 or 10 minutes here. That would be wonderful. Maybe you even take a blanket and put it over you and just feel your whole body and what's going on with it. Feel your emotions and just notice. This is called Shavasana. It's a very, very important part of yoga. And then when you're done with your Shavasana, you can turn the video back on. And I'm going to finish up here, bringing my knees up to my chest, giving myself a hug, and then coming over to my favorite side in kind of this curled up position, a fetal position. Yeah. Renewing your mind, your body, and your spirit. And then slowly coming up into a seated position, crossing your legs in front of you, bringing the arms up overhead, gazing up. Exhale, bring the palms together at heart center. May the God-given light and love in me reach out to that same light and love in you. Namaste. Have a beautiful one. And I will see you next time.